narrative then gets to be, look, the man beat you in an election, you took him to court, and court confirmed him the winner. And so we are having discussions as a party. One thing for sure is that we are law-abiding. You know, we are not like Mr. Museveni. Mr. Museveni got into power illegally. He killed people. He shed blood. Hundreds of thousands of people died, you know, as he used the barrel of the gun to get into power. We are saying we don't want that. Our country, Femi, has not seen a peaceful transfer of power. Never. It's never happened since independence, you know. And, you know, we used to blame the white man who came and messed us up, and yeah, they goofed up a lot. But you see, it's been a black man changing power to another through shedding of blood. We've never seen that. We're hoping that it eventually gets to happen. So, yes, we are looking at a couple of options. One of the things that we are asking of the international community is we would like the international community to hold Uganda accountable. And you know, whenever we do this, whenever we talk this way, Mr. Museveni says, so these Kyagulanyi, the Bobiwines, the senyonyi, they're calling on the white man to come and rule us here. We're saying, no, for heaven's sake, I'm not a white man. Bobi Wine is not a white man. He's the one seeking to be president of Uganda, not a white man. But we are saying Uganda is part of the international community. Yeah. So Mr. Museveni should not go on a killing spree, you know, in a manner so wanton, and it's okay because we are a sovereign state. No, the international community should keep its eye on Uganda. And I give examples. Uganda as a country, we have, you know, we are in South Sudan, we are in Central African Republic. Why are we there? Are those not sovereign states? They are sovereign states, but because we should keep them accountable, peer-to-peer review and accountability and all of that. And so we are asking the international community to do that. So Mr. Museveni should stop freaking out the international community and saying, mind your business, let's handle our issues. What he's saying is, leave me alone to kill Ugandans, be quiet, shut up. No, that's not happening.
Do you think international community, whoever they are, they're scared of Museveni?
I think they are, a good number of them. That's what it seems to be like. Some do speak out, but a good number of them are scared. So let's begin with Africa, because international community, it includes the African continent. There's such a thing as the African Union. It's a body, an African body, putting together all these countries. Many times they're silent about these issues.
I'm trying not to make my eyes roll when you say African Union, because there are many leaders.
They are bad because majority of them are guilty of the same things that Mr. Museveni is doing. Exactly. They are totalitarian in their countries, they are preponderant, they oppress the opposition, so they will not hold him accountable. They will not say a thing because they look at him as one of them, as their buddy. That's why they will be silent. Now let's broaden it, let's go out of Africa, you know, and look at the rest of the international community, the West, the US. You know, they probably have got interests. They, for example, are happy that Mr. Museveni has deployed in Somalia, and so they keep thinking, let's not annoy him. You know, he will destabilize the region. You know, they look at him as this sacrosanct figure, this powerful figure within the East and Central African region. And so if they dare tell him anything, they'll destabilize the region. Let's stop being afraid of a man that is causing mayhem, for heaven's sake. You know, I think he needs to be confronted. I think he needs to be told the truth by his peers, the international community. They need to care about what's happening in Uganda. You see, many years ago, with the genocide in Rwanda, the international community was silent. They said, you know what, deal with your own affairs. You know, we have our own affairs to take care of. Yep. But people were massacred. They woke up much later to realize we probably should have done something. We probably should have spoken out a lot more than we did. So I hope the international community does not wake up one day to regret.
Yeah, I was just about to make a comment about Rwanda today, but I don't want to take us off topic. This is I am Scanix. How far is A.T. Bobby with his loss? Is he on? I'm just trying to think mentally. You, NUP, Bobby. Where are you in terms of being able to pick yourself up and keep going on? How's Bobby doing right now?
I spoke to Bobby a few hours ago. Nowadays, you can only communicate with him via phone. I'll tell you what. He is stronger than ever before. His resolve is stronger than ever before. Yes, they have stolen our election, the election of Ugandans. You know, he doesn't even say they've stolen my victory. He says they've stolen the victory of Ugandans because he has only one vote. All right? This was the victory belonging to Uganda. but he's very resolute because one, Mr. Museveni keeps exposing himself, and for us, we believe we continuously keep chipping away at this tree. Mr. Museveni and his 35-year-old dictatorship is like a huge tree that has fortified itself. You know, bringing it down, I'll be honest, is not easy. But you've got to get an axe and keep chipping away and keep hitting at it. And we believe we have continuously done that, and we continuously do that. And so he continues to encourage Ugandans, one, not to lose hope, because many people are in a state of despondency. They're very disappointed, and so they're thinking all hope is lost. But Bobi Wine says, let's keep strong, let's keep pressing on. You know, time is going to come. We just have got not to give up. Because you see, when you just might give up at a time when this tree is about to fall. So keep cutting away, keep chipping away, eventually it will fall. So that's the mode in which he is, you know. Yes, he's disturbed that he's being held under house arrest. He's disturbed that they are denying him, you know, anybody that tries to take food to him, they lock them out and so on. These things, yes, disturb him as an individual, but his resolve is strong. He knows that we are up to the right thing. He knows that if he was not doing the right thing, he would not be being treated this way. And so he knows this has got to be done, and somebody has got to do it, and he's happy to do it.
I'm getting notes here about a potential demonstration on Jan 26. Is that something you would want to talk about publicly?
So January 26th is the day that Mr. Museveni celebrates what they call liberation, because that's the day he, with Mr. Museveni, with his fellow gun-wielding rebels, killers, I must say, you know, took over power. And so they celebrate this every year. But yes, I have heard that many people are planning to demonstrate out there, provided for within the laws. You know, it's not something that we have engineered, that we have started as the National Unity Platform Party. But these are Ugandans who are saying, you know what, let's take action, let's do something. We don't need to get an order from Bobi Wine or anybody else, you know. And so that keeps happening. Unfortunately, of course, the state always meets them with brutality and so on. But people always, they try and self-lead, so to call it. I remind you, there's a time when Bobi Wine was arrested, and when he was in incarceration, protests broke out. He did call them out, because you see, each time there's a protest, even when it's peaceful, some seven will say, now this Bobi Wine is getting people to protest and so on. That time he was behind bars. He did not place any order for people to protest, but they were saying, you know what, let's take action. And that's what Bobi Wine keeps telling them. He keeps saying, look, this is not about me as Bobi Wine. This is about all of us as a people. Everybody must play their part. Don't abandon this and relegate it to Bobi Wine, Senyonyi, and a few other leaders. Each one of us, because every Ugandan is oppressed, you know. It's not just Bobi Wine that is oppressed. And then I'll be honest, you know, he has made some money over the years as an artist and so on. And then so one would even say, so there's somebody that said, but you see, Bobi Wine, you keep making noise and saying you're oppressed, but you see, when you're unwell, you can access good healthcare, you can pay for it, you take your children to good schools. And he said, yes, I'm lucky, I'm one of the few who was able to rise from the ghetto to get to where I am. But there's many other people that have not gotten to the place at which he is. And so they take personal responsibility and say, you know what, this is about me. I'm fighting for myself, not for Bobi Wine. Because when I go to hospital, there's no medicine for me. When I take my children to school, they're studying under trees. When it rains, there's no schooling, you know. Many young people don't have a job. And so they're saying, you know what, this is not about Bobi Wine. It's about each and every Ugandan who is oppressed wherever they are.
This is such a tough conversation to have with you, because usually when we're doing a sort of election debrief, you want to sort of take into account, well, obviously there were some voters who voted for the ruling party, but it's impossible to know how much support President Museveni has, because so much of the election campaign and then election day and then post-election day, there was so much intimidation that it leads you to believe then probably have something they're either afraid of as a ruling party, or maybe they didn't even win it. So it just leaves doubt in the minds of people who are following this, reporting on this, and of course people who are living through this. A lot of people want to know what next. They're looking to you, to the National Unity Platform, for leadership. What would you say to them as we wrap up this conversation?
So there's a saying in my local language here, I've just translated it into English, that he who slaughters their own chicken can eat and thereafter they throw the bones, you know. because they have nothing to hide. No one will say, hey, those bones look like they are for my chicken and so on. But you see, when you steal your neighbor's chicken, you're going to eat it very quietly, and afterwards you're going to hide the bones, because the neighbor is looking for their chicken. And if they know you didn't have any chicken, but now I see chicken bones all over your compound, you stole my chicken. And then that's what is happening. So whenever you have something to hide, you do it very quietly, very surreptitiously, right? So Mr. Museveni knows that in a free and fair contest, he does not stand a chance. He knows that Ugandans are tired of him. He knows that Ugandans did not give him another mandate. If he did, just think about it, because if I am Mr. Museveni, and I believe Ugandans have voted for me overwhelmingly, I will not have anything to hide. I will not deploy as heavily as I'm doing. I will not arrest my opponents and their agents and confiscate the DR forms. I will show Ugandans clearly, transparently that, look, this is what happened. Because that would help him too, such that there is no doubt whatsoever about his win. But you see, all the things that he's doing clearly show that there is a lot that he has got to hide. Remember the example I gave you of a little child that steals sugar? When mommy or daddy walks into the room, they begin to do this. They don't do it. If they've not stolen any sugar, they'll be at ease and face mommy and daddy very bravely, So that's what is happening. Yes, you ask, it's difficult to know what kind of support Mr. Museveni has vis-a-vis the opposition. It is clear as daylight. Mr. Museveni wrote the victory of Ugandans. That's why he's doing everything in a very surreptitious and clandestine manner. The arrests, the deployments, and all of that. Clearly, it is to cover something. But make no mistake, Ugandans are very resilient people. They're extremely resilient. They supported Museveni into power, those that did, when he was shooting his way to power. They have a certain resolve on the inside of them. They don't give up easily, and so they'll keep soldiering on. And eventually will attain the freedom. So you ask, what's next for us? We are continuing with the struggle to attain freedom for our country. So I've had some people within Mr. Museveni's party, the ruling party, say, Bobi Wine and his party should be happy because they have made some gains. We have made some gains, in Parliament, we are the biggest opposition party. I'm a member of Parliament elect myself. But you see, we cannot become complacent. We cannot get into a celebratory party and say we have arrived. No, we haven't. Yes, I'm a member of Parliament, but you see, we still have this minority group that is preponderant over us, that wants to rule us for another 5 years, that wants to oppress us for another 5 years, that is going to deny people access to good health care for another 5 years, that is going to steal taxpayers' money for another 5 years, okay? So, yes, even for those that are celebrating, we are telling them, wait a minute, it's not yet Uhuru, we haven't gotten there yet. Yes, and look, I thank God that we have been able to do quite a lot in a very short time. It's just about 6 months ago that we unveiled this new party to the country and its new leadership. And so we had about 2 months to prepare for an election, get candidates across the country for MP, and then, of course, get our presidential candidate set and so on. So, by all standards, we have been able to achieve milestones in so short a time, because you're 2 months old really as a new leadership of this new party, and you are up against parties that have been around for a long time, entrenched and so on. So yes, I want to appreciate Ugandans for all that they have been able to do with us in this short time, but it's not Uhuru yet. We still have a lot to do to continue with the struggle, to see that our country gets to be free, to see that our country gets leaders who are accountable. Friendly, our leaders are not accountable. They do whatever they want to do, and it is okay. That's the problem. We need our people to get leaders who are accountable, leaders who are going to serve them. Mr. Museveni has said it not once, not twice, that he's not a servant of the people. He has said, I'm serving my family and my children. He said that, I think it was actually in an interview with Al-Jazeera, he said that I'm not the people, sir. I'm serving my children and my grandchildren. He said that we need leaders who are going to serve the people. And so that war is not won yet. So yes, we win a couple of battles, parliament, local council, etc., but the bigger war is still on. And ours is a non-violent war. Ours is a legally provided for mechanism that we want to use to see that we attain freedom. So in the next couple of days, we are going to be unveiling to Ugandans what more we are going to do, what avenues, how we are going to move. But what's for sure is the struggle continues until ultimately our country gets to be free.
Joe, I've seen a lot of questions about election results. What about these results here? What about these results there? How are Ugandans going to get clarity on that information? Where does that information come from? Who's responsible to release that?
So, yes, like I said, that the Electoral Commission is mandated with conducting an election, hopefully a free and fair one. Obviously, they're goofing up on that and then declare results. But then the process has got to be transparent. And that is why every candidate is entitled to DR forms, the Declaration of Results forms, that show how each candidate performed at every polling station. So we have been gathering hours from the different parts of the country. And of course, the regime has been overdrive to arrest our people, confiscate those DR forms because they have a lot to hide. But we are finding ways around that to make sure we get these DR forms. And then ultimately, we're going to show Ugandans how they voted based on the original DR forms, as opposed to what the Electoral Commission was reading to us, because the EC chairperson was reading results from a computer, a screen. And people kept asking, where are you getting those results from? And there was no clear answer. The results ultimately are meant to be from every polling station, and those are meant to be reflected on a declaration of result forms. And so we're gathering those, and then we'll be letting Ugandans know how they perform. Because the regime has a lot to hide, that's why they're stealing these DR forms, arresting our people, torturing them, and confiscating them, and so on. But the struggle continues. Like I said, Femi, we are swimming against the tide, but we shall not stop swimming. They can break our bones, but they will not break our spirits. They will not break our resolve. They will not break our motivation. We'll keep soldiering on. And look, now more than ever, it is etched on the inside of us. It is clearer than ever before, that we've got to pursue leadership change. Otherwise, if we keep having the leaders that we have today for the next 5 years, many people are going to be killed, many more are going to be locked up, many more are going to be maimed, many more are going to suffer at the hands of this brutal dictatorship. And so we must do everything possible within the law to see that our regime and leadership gets to change.
Joe, you've inspired a lot of conversation between Ugandans right here on Instagram Live. It is after midnight in Kampala. I know how late it is, but I also know how precious it is for you to keep fighting so that when you have an election in Uganda, that you feel confident that when the results come out, that the person who got the most votes becomes president. The person who got the most votes becomes MP. And I am not confident that that is the case right now. You absolutely are not confident that that is the case right now. Thank you for always being a friend of the stream. We really appreciate you making time very late at night. And Instagram Livers, thank you for your conversation, your concerns, sharing your stories, your experiences. The stream will stay on. It's not a story, it's your story, your situation, your politics. We will continue to follow your story on the stream, on all of our multiple platforms. But for now, I'm going to let you go to bed. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John,
greetings from Uganda.
Instagram Live. Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.